All right, testing one, two, three. Okay, I could hear myself on the earphones. That means I'm on the air. Welcome to the pre Jeff Sargent show. This is your host and producer, Daniel Rupp. Glad to have everybody here.
What kind of cream are you on, Jeffrey?
Oh, I like the cream that's in the fridge.
I know, but there's two types of cream.
Is there two different kinds?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I brought the vanilla one.
Pumpkin spice, brother.
What up, man? It's nice.
As we carefully get ready for our drum show, just putting together everything. Thank you for listening. Our start time isn't officially until 7 o'clock, so we got a few minutes.
You go, bro, huh?
I'm gonna play some.
I'll just put it there.
This is
Oh,
Alien
I can't use
Sex.
this part because it fell off in here, I believe.
Oh.
Okay, this is not working. I gotta check the main board here. Let's see what's going on here. As Jeff is putting together his drum set, because we're gonna have a drum off, and I may even join in and partake in the fun. But I think I'm on mute because my songs aren't playing. So let me check it out. This is not the Jeff Sargent show. The Jeff Sargent show will start in approximately 15 minutes. So. And this is not the Dan Rupp show. It's just me doing my thing beforehand. I got everything ready, everything cleaned up, everything wiped up. I got bagels for the guys and for our guest. So you guys, you know there's bagels right there on the counter. I always supply breakfast for everybody. So I thought I'd go different this morning. I went to a bagel shop right there in Ranch Cucamonga on Archibald and Foothill called New York Bagel Company. So there's jalapeno bagels and egg bagels. I didn't want to get too many different variations. So you get a choice of two. So and they came with cream cheese. And they're sliced, toasted right there. So they're on the counter. Okay? Jeff is frantically getting his stuff together, his laptop and everything else. Getting ready for today's big show. You're coming in. You're loud and clear. Patrick, test your mic.
Oh, let me check that. It is fine, Dan the man. How do I sound?
You sound fine. You're great.
Thank you, Sarah. Should I put yours on?
I'm good to go. Let's see.
Mic 3's working.
I finished setting up the drums. Here's a perfect match for you. Look, that big old booty butt show. Every time I plug my computer on, there's there's always a girl without a face. That perfect match for you. I don't know how this shit gets to my computer, man. Obviously, I click on things I shouldn't.
Excuse me. Hey, you moved your car out of the handicapped, right? So then to you.
He could borrow my my card if he needs
the
it.
door's open out there.
Okay, my effects, nothing's playing. Let me go check the board.
That's your.
This is all backstage stuff if you're listening. So you're getting a sneak peek at what we do beforehand.
Spice, yes.
You got Jeff down below the counter. He's not doing anything funny. He's just plugging in his computer.
Yeah, I told George Bellinger to tune in and call.
I know he's up. He's up drinking
He was
coffee.
asking about aquarium drum heads. I'm like, well, I got like he's the big top salesman there salesman research guy for aquarium.
I'm telling you, boys, good day in the morning.
Grab yourself a bagel. I got plenty.
I won't say no if you're offered. Egg bagels on the bottom?
Yeah.
I heart you, sir. I heart you.
Okay, let's see here as we prepare for the Jeff Sargent show.
My God in heaven.
Oh yeah, that comes in good. My effects for some reason are not coming up. All right, we got to turn that live thing off. It's causing way too much static. I'll do it. Hold on. We got about 3 minutes to airtime.
Thank you, sir. That's delicious. Now we work together.
It's called the New York Bagel Shop. It's right here, right there on Elm 12.
Now, is this where you got the donuts? Is this the same place you got the donuts, Danny?
No, I get the donuts at the donut shop.
Wow.
I get bagels at the bagel shop.
I see, smartass. Jeff is getting close. 6:59. 7 o'clock.
What?
7 o'clock. Wake your ass up. It's 7 o'clock.
Oh, they were doing that Frosty, Honey, and Frank this morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Wake your ass up. You listen to the Jeff Sargent Show.
Welcome to the Jeff Sargent Show. It's me and Patrick right now as Jeff is jamming on his drums.
Beautiful.
And Patrick is stuffing his mouth with the bagels that I brought in. a little plug for New York Bagels on Archibald and Foothill.
Amazing job, boys.
Right next to Stevie D's and the comic book store right there in that center where
Really?
Miller's Outpost used to be. So a little plug out to them.
Amazingly good. Are they in Foothill?
Yeah. So I'm trying to play my sound effects, but they're not playing. That's really weird. I checked everything. I don't know what's going on. I gotta look at this. So no, but welcome to the Jeff Sargent Show. We're gonna have obviously drum playing going on. We're already playing with the drums right now. I got here early because drummers are the most unappreciated person in a band. And they are always the first ones there and the last ones to leave because they have to tear down their kits and everything, you know, unless they borrow somebody else's kit.
Then they don't care what happens to it.
Yeah, and then they care. I mean, they watch it, but they're like, you know. But when they get our age, they're like, Eddie Neville, you know, is the drummer for the Flamethrowers, and he's been on my show more than once. And no, he lends his drums out. And he just
does he really?
Yeah. He'll just leave them on stage and let the next band use them.
Wow.
So some drummers are really good, but they do go kind of unappreciated, kind of like a bass player, you know. Bass players are not really that appreciated either, except for like, what's that guy from Rush who plays the bass and sings?
Not Getty. Getty?
Yeah.
Getty Lee? Wow.
Yeah, and my friend Bert Williams plays the bass and plays in the Yeasty Boys. I always talk about the Yeasty Boys, but I love them. So, yeah, so we just do all that, and yeah, so we're gonna have some drums in here today. I may even hit the sticks. I did it. I don't think I've hit the sticks or the what do they call the skins since the 80s. So if I was to go behind that drum kit, it would be something to be watched. So we're streaming live on YouTube, and we're live on chaoticradio.com. If you don't have the application, just go to the App Store for your Droid or for your iPhone. All you have to do is go to Chaotic Radio, chaotic with a K, and go to chaoticradio.com, and you could listen to it. You could also listen to us on YouTube, and just type in Chaotic Radio, Jeff Sargent, and he should come up on your YouTube live feed. And yeah, so there's so many different ways to listen to the show, and I'm sure Jeff will start, if not, I will start streaming on Facebook, and then you can watch there. The only thing bad about that is that you can't hear me, or if I broadcast in the booth, you can't hear you guys. So, with that being said, if you have any phone calls, or if you want to call in with any questions, the phone number is 909 360 8330. And call in with any questions.
Operators are standing by.
Yes, operators are standing by. That would be me.
By the way, thank you for the bagels. Yeah, no, the bagel I had was delicious.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to New York Bagels on Archibald and Foothill. Right next to the comic book store.
Compelling radio with Jeff Sargent. I'm Jeff Sargent. I'm just playing myself a rock and roll too.
Yeah, he hasn't even done his introduction.
Well, that was something.
Well, I can't get this foot pedal. I got double bass here, but I can't figure out. I can't remember how to. Fuck.
Party foul.
Put $1 in the jar.
Put $1 in the swear jar.
How does this?
Sounds okay from here, except for lack of a pedal.
I know there's this thing came on.
Okay, Jeff is tinkering over the drum kit.
I'll let Chris do it or Jamie when they get here.
He's doing it, Chris or Jeff.
Wow. I didn't know Jeff was so good at drums.
I didn't know he was so good at swearing.
He's very good at swearing.
He is.
Are you guys? Are we on the air?
We've been on the air for 6 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's already 10 after 7.
Well, okay. Hold. Let me.
Okay, the man the
Yeah,
show is named after.
You
is-
haven't even played your introduction song.
Yeah, I'm just Sergeant. Wake your ass up.
Oh.
I'm just Sergeant. Wake your ass up. Here he comes. He spreads the microphone. The audience watches.
Okay, let's pretend. Let's
Wow.
Okay, everybody. Sorry I was late. I was trying to set this drum kit up.
Yeah, that was Alien Sex Fiend, by the way.
Okay, we got the world's hardest hitting drummer working man from Aquarian Drumheads. Just walked in the studio, Mr. James Harris. Hey, James. All right, let's get you down.
Pleasure,
Let's set
James.
you up with a
Pleasure.
put on a set of headphones and step up to the mic. All right. This is a show for all drummers, okay? At any level. We got a phone number here, 909-360-8330. Call in if there's any questions. We're going to talk about the world's best drum heads.
Yeah.
They're Aquarian. Good morning, Jamie.
Morning. How are you doing? How are you doing, Jeffrey? Oh,
All
that's
right.
much better.
All right, thanks for showing up so early in the morning.
Yeah.
You're up early anyway, James. You
got
guys, let me
hands as
introduce
cold
you.
as-
This is our
Hands as
co-host.
cold as death.
This is producer Dan. This is my son. My did I say sidekick?
Yeah, I
Okay,
thought
my
you were saying
co-host. Things have switched around. lately.
I am Pat Jankowitz. I welcome you to the Pat Jankowitz Show.
You son of a bitch. Okay.
Yeah.
We have Chris Moore is on his way. Aquarian Drum. You guys sponsor him, right?
Yeah. We're a drumhead company, obviously. There's also a couple other drumhead companies that are competitors. And Chris Moore happens to be an artist of ours that I actually initiated signing him. I had known him back from my old stomping grounds in Hollywood, all in the 80s. I played in all those bands. Just
What
like
was your first band that you played in?
Actually, I started playing, it wasn't really a band, but it was the kids down the block, you know, my friends I went to school with, which was interesting because I wanted to play so bad. And eventually my best friend's bands, they kicked out one of my good friends, the drummer, and they hired me to play in the band.
By the way, way to take a stand for your friend.
Yeah. Well, I ended up paying him back later, and we're great friends to this day.
Wow.
That would be my friend Gene Provencio. He's a artist. He was artist relations for Tama for 10 years, and now he drum techs for Slayer, all the bands, Boston. He's one of those guys.
Wow.
Although when I was growing up, I always wanted to be like Gene. I wanted to play drums like Gene, and I used to sit behind his drums, and so I pretty much copied his style, which allowed me to get into his band pretty easy. But yeah, when I started venturing into Hollywood, I was kind of a late bloomer. I always knew a lot of people in bands, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do because at one point I wanted to be like, a pro surfer, and then I wanted to do this and that, and the music was always there. But so I started venturing in Hollywood. I ended up meeting guys like, the names don't mean anything, but there's a guy, Rick Fox, I met. He helped me get...
Okay, that was back in the Rick Fox, I think of Steeler.
Yeah, Steeler. Which,
in the early metal years.
Correct. And it's quite ironic because I ended up playing with those guys in Steeler. I played with Kurt James for a number of years.
Wasn't Yngwie Malmsteen
Yes.
in one of the...
Correct. Kurt replaced Yngwie. Yngwie went to Alcatraz. And then by the time I started getting into that situation, that band got dropped. Shrapnel, I believe it was, and they were staggering. Ron Keel left.
Ron Keel. Which was first, Steeler or Keel?
Steeler. Yeah.
Steeler. Then he went solo,
and then he went Keel. And then by the time I started playing with Kurt and those guys, and they had the whole management and the whole bit, it was done. So I was kind of like in this broken down band.
Wow.
I remember those early Motley Crue days and stuff. And there was a band, Nikki Sixx had a band called London.
Yeah, London.
And then there was a band I saw you in called Funhouse.
Yeah, well, going back when I met Rick, To answer this gentleman's question,
Yes,
I ended
please.
up playing in an old glam band.
Oh, no.
As embarrassingly as it is to say, but yeah, we were called Actress, and by the time,
Old Mill Band, right?
oh yeah,
Oh,
dude, it was
welcome to
so,
the
it
80s.
was
Just
so
like
gay.
Ruby Slippers.
Yeah,
I remember.
I knew those guys. Yeah, we played with those guys, but then
Yeah,
once,
New York Dolls.
Yeah.
oh, I love them. Yeah,
We
so
were playing a lot of New York Dolls yesterday.
once
We did.
once Poison, they were just got signed and they went off. I said it's over. So then I started playing in bands, and of course, guys like Tracy Guns helped me get into this band Funhouse. And by that time, I had already, played with Lizzie Nader, those guys in London. Wanted to play in their band, although they didn't hire me to play in their band. But it was
the
kind of
bastards.
it was a weird situation. Yeah, I wasn't really sure what I was doing, and I was ready to leave the state and come back for a while. So I ended up in this band Funhouse, and we did a lot of good things. I mean, we did some videos. We got on MTV. We did, the whole KLOS thing, and very local. We weren't we weren't like touring around the world or anything, but we did get a taste of a lot of good things. We did open some stuff for Guns N' Roses. And,
Oh, did you really?
Oh, and James, you name it.
Oh yeah,
All
it was
the
a
bands.
big
We played with
circuit.
all of them. Yeah.
Everybody played with everybody. It's
Everybody
kind.
played with everybody.
It seems like a lot of bands were opening, like the bands that became
Oh.
really successful. They would open for your band, It was like
Yeah.
back, and then things spun around,
Wow.
So that all was great, and we had a good run, and of course, not getting into too much detail, I had my issues. Of course, you know how drugs knocks you out of the whole game. So I ended up in, of course, getting help, quitting my band. Where I stopped playing with Funhouse, and I was kind of in limbo for a while, and then this is how it's funny how Aquarian came about. I had rehabbed out for quite a while. I played in this surf band, which one of our artists, Dusty Watson, who plays with
Yes, I
Dale.
posted the picture of you and Dusty. He's a great guy.
I love Dusty.
Man,
Dusty's like
he's
my brother.
inspiring. That guy, he could play
Yes.
any kind of music, hard rock, surf music.
Yeah. So,
I've jammed with him in a drum circle.
oh, he's great. So I basically had this shot. I'm like, Dusty played in the surf world. He knew all these guys. A guy by the name of Tom Stanton who played with the Crossfires, played the Safaris. We had the
Wow,
section.
the Safaris.
So yeah, and we had what was his name? He was the original Don Murray, the original drummer of the Turtles. They had this band called the Surf Kings, and they actually Don Murray went into surgery. Tom asked me if I would do their album while he was recovering. Well, he passed away in surgery.
Oh, no.
So I ended up with the band for a while. We did a bunch of car shows, water parks. It was great. We did a bunch of things.
You played Raging Waters?
No.
You play, wow.
But a park like that, while at that time I wasn't like under the cuff, I didn't have stress like, you got to play perfect, we're going on these tours. It was more like, well, I'm going to drink a bunch of beer, I'm going to go out there and I'm just going to go nuts.
Wow.
And I'm playing traditional surf music, but the reason why they liked me is because I was playing my rock style with the surf style, so it kind of made us kind of weird. We'd get guys, I had these guys come up to me in real big gigs that we did and go, Jamie, you're good, but you just aren't a good surf drummer. You hit too hard.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, like, well, good. Then that makes us a bit different than you guys.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that's how that all started. And then, of course, Dusty was involved with that circle. We did shows with Dusty's bands and Slack Tone and Dick Dale.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we played with Dick Dale once. I can't
You
remember.
actually played with Dick Dale?
Not his band, my band, Surf Kings. So then I got this opportunity to do this tour. It was called one of these big tours, the Vans Warped Tour with this punk rock band. And may I make a
please.
note? I can't stand punk rock. I'm not that kind of drummer.
Wow.
I never confessed to be
He's
that
a
kind of
hard-hitting
drummer.
metal drummer, and I've been a metalhead. I've been in both worlds, and I don't like tappers.
Yeah,
tappers.
well,
You're
I'm
a
learning
hard-hitting.
how to tap now.
When I
technique.
when I met Jamie when we kind of bonded there I was roadieing for a band called Mandy Lion World War III. And
Yeah, I
Jamie was
remember.
just
That's not 80s at all.
no.
that's
This
pretty
guy
hardcore.
is heavy. I mean, this is, and I saw his drum kit, and I go, damn, Jamie's a heavy hitter here.
So basically what had happened is I'm like, Dusty, I'm going to audition for this punk band. And the reason, there's reasons why I did. The members in the band were friends of mine, and they knew my brother, who I won't get into, but my brother was a world champion sky surfer who passed away. He was the one that won the Extreme Games. He's been in movies, all kinds of stuff.
I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know, it's okay. But he died, so all these guys in the band kind of knew my brother's reputation. They're like, we got to get Rob's brother in this band because, you know, Rob was a world champion, so Jamie's got to be good on his drums, you know.
No.
And I'm kind of like, yeah, well, I'm
You
not.
were actually playing your brother's drums.
Well, no, my brother
well-
didn't play drums. He sky surfed. He passed away sky surfing or skydiving, doing that Mountain Dew commercial, the James Bond one. So, guess who helped me to get in this punk band was Dusty.
Dusty,
Wow.
yeah.
I went to Dusty, just freaking out, and he didn't charge me anything. He was such a bro. He's helped me out, created my speed. I got faster. I got the gig. I did a little over a year. I toured 2 different tours with this band called Cheater. We had a debut release, Teenage Zero. It's on the internet. We did a bunch of stuff. And then by that time, one of our road crew guys or tour managers said, hey, I'm a drummer too. Here, I got these heads I've had for years. He goes, look at this. It's high energy. And I'm like, oh, cool. It looks cool.
Yeah.
It's got, but I knew nothing about Aquarian. My whole life is I played Remo as long as I can remember, which I like Remo a lot. I think they make great heads. I'm sorry. So
You're
then
just speaking to the rubber band, and it comes in a little.
basically what ended up happening is I got that gig. I toured a little, came off that tour. The tour, when we weren't playing the Vans Warped shows, was horrible. Although the band was very good, I wasn't used to it. You know, I was used to traveling like with my old 80s bands when the music business was different and it was more of a bigger deal. And what ended up happening is I called my buddy Glenn Noyes, he's the buyer for Guitar Center. He's a big wig out there, honcho. Used to run West LA Music. Glenn, I need a job. This is bad. I can't be playing these clubs, making no money, next to none. Sometimes we would, sometimes we didn't eat. I'm like, this is stupid. I'm in my mid-30s. I can't be doing this. So I went in, got off tour. Glenn hired me. West LA Music. Worked there for 4 months. Then I remembered that drum head, how good it was when I was on tour, that high energy. So I started finding out that, well, Aquarian sells their drum heads to West LA Music. I started talking, created a relationship with Roy Burns because I am a very social bug. That's how come I got in all these bands, playing with guys better than me.
Yeah.
So I learned fast.
All right.
And I created a relationship with Roy, got an interview. He liked my energy and my charisma and motivation. And I went in, got the job, and 20 years later, I am the guy at Aquarian. I'm national sales manager. I've done a little bit of artist relations. That's where Chris Moore came in. I kind of got a couple other guys also into the Aquarian. And it's been a great run. And the greatest thing about it for me is that about the first 10 years I was at Aquarian, like you mentioned, when Mandy Lyon, the World War III, that enabled me to not only for the first time in my life get actually money,
Wow.
which I got paid very well to play with that band. The band was amazing. I loved playing with them.
Yeah, I even got paid when I worked. And
Yeah,
and I'm just a roadie cable guy.
Correct.
You know, we're working on the PA system with.
And I'm just like the drumhead guy at Aquarian Drumheads, but yet I'm taking my vacations and I'm doing these tours with my best friend who sets my drums up, and they're paying for his flight. They're paying for his hotel. And I did about at least like, I don't know, 20 something of these shows where we flew, and I would never take the bus or the Winnebago or whatever they had. I'd never take that because I had Aquarian. I had to fly in so I could get back to work. So it was amazing doing that. So people would look at me and go, wow, you're still playing. I go, no, actually, I work a real job. I make good money, but I get to play for fun at the same time. And hey, I'm making some money. And then not only that, I got to play with Michael Devin, Jimmy Bain for like years and years and years. And these guys.
Those are heavy hitters there.
They are, where I'm not. I mean, no pun intended. I mean, I'm a good rock drummer, but these guys, you know, I got to play with Mark Zavon. I did 3 videos with Mark Zavon, and I did one with Jimmy Bain, and the other 3 with Michael Devin. I cherish those moments because I love that style of music. I'm a 4/4, hard-hitting animal type of drummer. I never confess to be more than that. I work with drummers at Aquarian that are amazing. And
you come across all these, I mean, some of the best drummers around that you see in the Drum World magazine and when you go to the NAMM shows. How's the NAMM show set up when you do that?
Well, what we do is we have a booth. We're usually in the same spot every year. And, you know, we would do, you know, I started, 20-some years ago. We would do PAS, Chicago Vintage Show, Frankfurt. I'd fly every year to Frankfurt and do the music messa. So we had a number of shows that we did, and, you know, Summer NAMM, Winter NAMM. And so we would have booths, and it depends on which show it is, but typically the dealers would come around and see my face and, hey, how's everything going? And then Chris Brady, who is the main artist relations for Aquarian Drumheads, who, if I want to sign a guy, I have to pitch it to Chris. So
yeah, you got your overseer.
Because I tend to bring these guys from Hollywood and 80s, and Chris is a master at drums. Chris, he writes tablatures for Greg Bissonette. He's been in Modern Drummer. Chris is an amazing drummer, and I learned so much from him. And so I respect his boundaries, and he's not just going to go signing anybody, but some of these guys I've known and toured with in the 80s that I know really well. And I want to bring that element at least to Aquarian, because Aquarian's already got has the R&B, the jazz. We have all that country, you know, Toby Keith, all these bands, we have them locked in. And you know, we had some what do you call it? What's the, I can't think of the name. I'm having a senior moment, but we have a lot of heavy bands too as well. Like, you know, we had Lamb of God, and we had like heavy Scorpions and bands such as at that nature. But I always respect Chris, and Chris is an amazing drummer, and he's the one that signs everyone. So he's at the booths, and artists come up and say hi, and they do their picture op, and then we tie it with social media and, you know, that whole thing.
Right.
So basically that's how it is. When I got to Aquarian, I have to admit, I mean, coming from that Hollywood world and that rock world, I really thought like I was badass. And seriously, and when I got to Aquarian, I was humbled fast.
Wow.
I mean, I have good friends that I can call my friends now. My buddy Nat, we have artists, a lot of guys that are monsters, and I watch them, and I'm humbled. I just like, I put my sticks down and just go, okay, I'm just going to absorb as much of this as I can. I mean, it's never too late to do anything, right?
It's like, okay, I'm still a student. I'm still learning after seeing these big guys.
So it's been so fun learning from the master Roy Burns. Roy Burns is my boss. I work with Roy every day. Roy Burns is the one that pretty much invented and started the drum clinic. He's done drum clinics around the world, not to mention played with Benny Goodman, Lionel Hampton. I mean, he's done it. He's played the Merv Griffin show. He's, you know, sat in Tonight Show. He's done a lot of stuff. So right there, I know that I have a gift that's been given to me with this employment option to work for money, to play my drums and learn from the greatest legends in the drum industry.
Wow.
So,
and
it's great. When you go to work, you walk in there, is there like a drum, a little like isolation booth thing where you're trying out new products that are being developed?
And what's a drum clinic for us laymen?
Okay, well, you're talking two different things. Drum clinic first, really quick. We do drum clinics for a lot of our artists. The artists will go out, they'll go to the store will pitch in, we'll pitch in. The artist will do clinic, and he'll talk about our drum heads. Of course, talk about himself, his band. And then that's what usually drum clinics are. Some guys, they play their band material. Some guys, they'll do like instructional and stuff like that. So that's what the drum clinic is. But as for these shows, like when you go into Aquarian, we have a studio, we have offices, and that's pretty much our setup.
Oh my God, someone's at the door. Let him in, let him in.
It's Ringo Starr.
It is the undeniable Chris Moore. One of today's greatest, hottest drummer. He comes in like a rock star with his drumsticks.
And he's drinking Rockstar.
Let's put the headphones on.
I like these sticks.
Headphones too? All right.
Jamie goes, I like these sticks. And he's
Jamie
already playing.
kicked off the show. He got here earlier, and he's educating us on the world of drums right now.
Is this mic working?
Up,
Do I talk it
up.
like this, or do I need to-
Dan, what mic is that? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Come on, help us out. Help us out, Dan. No.
Speak to us, son.
Hello. Check, test.
He's
Son,
he's
check,
on
check,
mic.
check.
Hello.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Sibilance.
Sibilance.
What are we gonna do, Dan? Come on, producer Dan.
Oh, God.
Let's move you over here to mic 2.
Okay.
Okay.
2. Holy Jesus Marimba.
Do a test on that. Hook that up, please.
Jesus Marimba, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, my God.
We don't have an intern engineer, so producer Dan has to do all this stuff
Hi.
till we.
All right, is this working?
Yes,
Hello?
it is.
Hey. All right.
Let's
wait.
stretch that over. Talk into the rubber band.
Oh, hi.
Tighten this up here.
There we go.
Let me see here now.
I told Chris I was putting my drum kit together, and that little piece that holds the tom,
Yeah.
I don't know if it fell inside the drum, but I had extra, the T-bolt that goes in there, and there's that little nut that it screws into, and it can't find it, so I had to minus that. And my double kick pedal on the other extension, the chain needs to get wrapped around. I don't know how that happened. Maybe one of you guys. Yeah, I'm such a lousy drum tech. I set this thing up so sloppy, and maybe you can help me out.
Let me just tell you, I got up in the middle of the night to come here.
Wow.
I got up like when I normally am going to sleep.
Well, we know you and Jamie work hard, and we really appreciate it.
Oh,
no
yeah,
problem.
no, man.
I just
Good to
go
see
into
you guys.
Aquarian after this. So.
Yeah. Then he goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, don't you? You're an early riser. I mean, I was at El Porto yesterday when I was right at our spot. It was so hot yesterday.
Yes.
I was doing some business with Captain Morgan down there in Long Beach Harbor,
Oh,
and so
yeah, I
I
get up
came
early
to
a
our
lot.
surf spot. We've met up, and you go surfing like every. Do you surf before you go to work?
Yes, but now the time's kind of switched around, so it gets lighter later. So I have to be on the freeway by a certain time. So I have been a weekend warrior lately.
Oh, that's straight. You're going right down the 91, right?
correct, correct. Yeah,
Right. Oh,
from
so
Manhattan
you're-
Beach.
Wow.
And Aquarian.
Yeah.
Where is Aquarian? Is that off Catella or somewhere?
It's off Tustin, North Tustin in Anaheim.
Okay.
Yeah. So, absolutely.
Aquarian is, man, the greatest. Love Aquarian.
So,
heads.
before, like, I know Chris came in, but I just wanted to finish.
Oh, yeah,
please.
The
please.
thing about Aquarian is we do have a studio in there.
Do you
And, yeah, and I'd say about 15 years into my job, we released a drum head that has a trigger in it. It's FSR triggering. And basically, we were so into that for about 1.5 to 2 years, Ron, one of the owners of Aquarian, he goes, okay, your new title is you're testing heads, because it was really important. So, and they know I hit hard, so they wanted me to try to break the heads, try to break the ink, which costs a lot of money every time you had to change the circuit board, which was every time I go, no, Ron, it doesn't work. It'd be like cha-ching, you know. So
when you're doing this is like scientific stuff here. You're hooking up a drum head to like graph monitors,
correct,
electronics, to see how much poundage is going into the heads, and
it has it signals a trigger you know, through from the drum head and makes it electronic, like electronic drum.
How many drum heads? You must break them all the time.
Oh, Chris is a monster.
Chris is a monster.
That's why
look
I
at those
wanted to
guns
sign
on him
him.
right there.
Yeah, no.
Chris is awesome.
Thanks. No, I just like. I'm like Garth. I like to play.
Hey, Chris Degner is watching. He's a pretty big actor in Hollywood from Arcadia.
Arcadia,
How you doing,
California.
Greg?
A big actor from Arcadia.
Oh yeah,
Tacolita.
Taco Lita. Yeah, we'll see you there,
that's
buddy.
the best
Yeah.
place ever, Tacolita.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
and that's
I
the
love it.
that's how they put Arcadia on the map, didn't it?
That's-
Okay, what were you saying? I interrupted one of you guys. Was it you?
oh no.
Well,
It was you.
I was just saying that part of my job when I started testing the drum heads like that, it sort of morphed into a new title for me along with, I've always been the national sales manager for many, many years, but then it morphed into drumhead tester, which to this day, I continuously test everything we come out with the exception of one line that we did with one of our artists, Eric Moore. But other than that, yeah. So my point being at Aquarian, we wear many hats. Yeah. We all do everything now, which we love it that way. We run a tight ship. We're a small company, but we're very worldwide. And the big thing about Aquarian is we're not corporate, and we try to keep everything fair and support the local companies, the small businesses. Although we are in the big chain stores, we are on Amazon, we're on Sweetwater, all the big guys, but we really support the small dealer, and that's our main motto. We keep the prices all equal.
So you keep a good tight a relation, up close and personal relationship with all these.
We have reps for every state. We still have reps. We're very old school. We believe in the personal touch. One great thing about Aquarian is we're all drummers. We're all drummers, with the exception of maybe a couple of the females there, but we're all drummers. And yeah, that makes a better experience when we're talking to other drummers and consumers on the phone, which I do daily. I get so many consumer calls a day, and my problem is when I start talking to a drummer, I'm so into it, and I want to help that drummer out, and at the same time, I don't want to confuse him or make him think that I'm some idiot, that I don't know what I'm talking. So I've been doing this a long time, so I am on the phone, but my problem is I'll take 45 minutes on one call, and I'll get about 4 or 5 of those calls a day.
There goes your day, man.
There goes my day, yeah. But yeah, I love having Chris on our roster. I remember Chris, although I didn't know him personally back in the 80s, but we come from the same stomping grounds. Yeah. I remember his band. I remember when I was in Funhouse, we were a dirty street Hollywood kind of Jane's Addiction, Guns N' Roses style band. I got to admit, we kind of had our own style, but we stole from every other band too. That's probably why. We had a lot of dysfunctional things going on in the band. But I remember Cry Wolf in Chris's old band, and I remember thinking like, wow, well, those guys are good, but I think we're cooler. But I don't know. We suck, but we just, like, I remember playing a show with Geffen, and we were working with Vicky Hamilton, and I swear to God, it was one of the worst shows we ever did in our life, and they were thinking of signing us, Geffen. And my everything went wrong. It was so bad to where I used to hang out with Vicky all the time and go to her apartment. She walked right by me after the show like she didn't even know me.
Wow, couldn't let Kevin see you. She knew you.
The problem is that Funhouse was never consistent. We were still green, doing headlining stuff, going on tour. We were too green.
I remember seeing, I don't know what show, you guys opened up, I think it was at the Whiskey or something. I think.
Well, yeah, we played everywhere.
That was, back there, I was there. I was a regular there, supporting everybody's band.
So you sucked, but you sucked with style.
Yes, correct. With style, and you know how that is. You know how that goes. Music business hand in hand, buddy.
Welcome to Nickelback.
Some of the bands made it out, and a band like X, DJ Bonebreak.
Yes, nice
he
guy.
bangs on those skins
Oh,
like
he's great.
Nobody's business. I mean, He's a great drummer, and even
Yes.
to this day, I think he's in his 50s.
Oh.
and,
No,
You
he's
know
got
what?
those guys are in their 60s now, aren't they?
I know
Really?
DJ very well. The funny thing about DJ, and he barely remembers to this day, back in 78, 79, maybe it was 80, I worked at a studio called Cherokee Studios in Hollywood. It was one of the biggest, well-acclaimed studios ever. I knew all the Robs, Con, the manager, the owners. That was a home away from home for Jeff Skunk Baxter. Paul McCartney, Rod Stewart, everybody. John Cougar did his album there. Everybody played there. Well, that as far back as that is when I met DJ. And DJ, they were recording the X under the big black sun.
Sun, yes.
Yeah,
Big
yeah.
Black Sun,
And I
yeah.
remember talking to him, and I made friends with him. Acquaintance friends, real quick back there, back in the old school days. And he Xeroxed this drum. It was like drum solo chart thing for me to practice, and he Xeroxed it, and we became friends. And
all right, the old Xerox.
after they record their album, how many years go by till now, or 20 years ago when I started Aquarian, and there's DJ's he's one of our artists.
Wow.
And every time I see him at a show, well, now I've kind of let up on him. I don't bug him that much about. But
Does
I'm
he
like,
walk
dude,
up-
don't you remember? Don't you remember? Remember you met me, Cherokee? Remember? And he's kind of like,
Oh, he goes, Jamie, here's your Xerox.
yeah, probably, yeah. So
Now he plays a big 26 bass drum, right? Is it 26?
you know what? To be honest, I don't know. I mean,
I remember him having that huge bass drum.
I know Dusty does. Dusty has a 26.
Do you guys? I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, you play all different sizes, Chris. I noticed that you play so many different kits for different things, projects you're doing.
Yeah. It depends. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the sound I'm looking for, the vibe of the band, where I can sit in the mix. I mean, a big part of what I do is not just playing wise, not thinking about a particular band that I'm playing with, or the overall sound, but I'm really looking at in the mix, where do the guitars sit, where's the bass sitting, and then how can I tune my kit, or what sizes do I need to use to fit in that band's mix. And I think that's one of the things that is a little bit unique these days, because most people just kind of get up and do it, and they're not thinking about where they're sitting in the mix and how the overall band sounds that way. And so a lot of times you'll get frequencies will be competing, and therefore you'll have you're not hearing the drums as much, or you're not hearing the bass as much, or something, and you're going, why is that? What turn it up louder, and now you're distorting. It's not that. It's really being conscious of the overall mix and where you sit.
Okay, I got a call from down under, from Australia.
From Australia.
Well, all right.
Wow.
Bring it on.
This is a silly question. I think it is, but maybe it's not. Is the gong done, or do you guys have a skill to play a gong?
Oh man.
Is that? I think.
Okay. So the gong thing, my goal is to be big enough to have a gong. That's really all I want.
And what about the cowbell?
No,
It's like the grand finale.
Right.
Boom! It's either an intro or it's at the end of the song. Am I right?
Well, yeah, but it's like my cowbell. My cowbell is the size of a basketball, so I don't miss it. So I can hit that baby.
I forgot my bag. I have a bag with all my cowbell and percussion, my wood knockers, and my whatever I wanted to bring. I didn't have time. My kit's just a mess today, as you can see.
That's all right.
But I love my cowbell. It helps me.
I'm hoping. So this thing's set up and ready to play?
Yeah,
Well,
we're gonna
yeah.
have a
Like I
drum
said,
off.
my chain is twisted on my double bass pedal. The chain is flipped around. I don't know if you just spin it around with the key. You guys will have to.
It's the technical term is thingamajigger.
The-
What that is. And I'm hoping
Say
to have
that
my,
correctly, or we'll be blanked up there.
that chingadero.
Yeah.
I know you got to take this and this, and you got to put it together.
Address your letters to Jeffrey Sargent.
You know, we have to.
What is it?
Isn't your band members
Yeah,
gonna call in?
it's so one thing we're gonna hopefully do here in about an hour maybe
Yes.
is I'd like to get the rest of Why Not on the phone here with us.
Oh, yes,
and
yes.
Maybe we can play our latest Rush cover.
Wow.
Yeah.
We just finished it. I literally just got the mix yesterday.
Yeah, I want to
It'd
hear
be
that.
so fun to play it. All right,
Yeah.
you guys want to hear
Now,
it? All
now,
right.
yes,
but,
we,
hey, but we got Jimmy's origin story. Can we get yours, Chris?
My what?
your
Origin story.
origin.
Origin
now,
story.
I remember we went to
Your
the same
story of
schools.
beginning.
We were both from Arcadia.
When you
Okay.
were a baby.
Let me
Oh God.
hold this. I remember at Baldwin Stalker.
Oh no. Okay.
Color guards. Hold on. Let me do this real quick.
Okay.
Here, hold this. Hold it on there.
He's coming over to kiss you.
Oh God. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Color guards, present colors.
Oh
Color
no.
guards, attention.
Amateur hour with Jeffrey Sargent.
No way. How do you remember that, man?
All the weed and
No way.
all the drugs, and that's how they remember.
Yeah, all the meth, everything.
All the meth.
I
all
have
the
this memory
blown-out
for
circuits of
really
brain-
ridiculous things that mean nothing in my life, but I think that does mean something in my life.
That does, man. Oh, that
Jeff,
is so
That
awesome.
that was only from all the elementary schools I went to.
He
yeah.
lives for drugs.
That was
and
the only
masturbation.
one. When we had assemblies, we had two guys carrying flags.
Clown.
Did I say
Cloud.
clown? You know, fuck
said
you.
cloud.
Hey, Dan, it's all your fault. Okay, carrying the flags, and we had, and then we had a trumpet player.
Yes.
Ba ba da ba 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 ba
Yeah,
ba.
that was Jim Caputo.
And then we had the drummer, and Chris Moore played that beat that I just did
Yeah,
right there.
That was exactly what I played.
Wow.
You played it better than I did, though.
Well,
Oh,
yeah, but
man,
Jeff,
I am honored.
Jeff's had a man crush on you since he was 13.
So, yeah.
So,
Hi.
so then I seen you in a band called Rampage.
Rampage, yes.
I remember seeing them at Oddfellows Temple in Pasadena.
Pasadena.
And I remember, I don't know if it was the singer or the guitar player. I remember him doing a flip on stage. while
Yeah,
playing his-
our singer Bruce Fernandez would literally do a backflip on stage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was crazy shit.
yeah.
man.
He was. Yeah, it was. That was. Those were good times, man.
Now, where were you born, Chris?
Where?
Rio.
I was born in Arcadia, California.
Oh my God!
Born and
you're-
raised,
Wow,
healed among the best.
man! I came from the East Coast, from the little town of Delaware, but
We
migrated
didn't ask for
to
thank you.
Arcadia since I was 6 years old. That's why I went to Camino Grove,
Yeah.
Baldwin Stalker, Holly Avenue,
Yeah,
Arcadia, First Avenue.
yeah, man. First Agony. Yeah, yeah. I went to Baldwin Stalker, went to First Agony, and then Arcadia High School, man.
And we had quite a bit of rock stars. We had the guy I looked up at that influenced me that musically was Brian Costa,
Oh yeah, Brian. Yeah.
the Cyclones.
So Brian, when I was 9 or 10 years old, I think I was 9, there was a backyard party up the street from my house. We could hear it from my house, okay? And it was like a, Saturday afternoon or whatever, and I went up there, and there was this band playing in these people's backyard, and Brian Costa was the drummer, right?
Yes.
And I was just like blown away watching him. I was like, oh my God, this guy, incredible. And so I just standing there just transfixed. And so he came over, we were talking, and he turned out to be still a friend, just amazing, super cool dude. But anyway, he was like, hey, do you want to get up and jam a song or two or something like that? And I played Stormtroopin' by Ted Nugent with these guys.
Wow.
And I think Carl was the guitar player.
Yeah. Carl Jahasis
Yeah.
from Dred Zeppelin.
Yeah, so they
This
ended
was
up-
the Cyclones then.
Yeah, it was the Cyclones. It evolved into that, and then they had the Item.
The Item was
Yeah.
after,
Yeah, and Joe Ramsey and all those guys. They were just my heroes, man. It was like, those guys and Smile. When I was in Rampage, Smile and Jim Volpe and all those guys, they were just absolutely my.
I remember
worship
that's
those
with
bands.
the great Tommy Gervin, who
Yeah.
became Eddie Money's guitar player up till now. Yeah.
And he wrote. I think he. I think he played with Kenny Loggins and wrote like Danger Zone or whatever from like Top Gun.
He
And
wrote friggin' Danger Zone?
Yeah, and I think he wrote
Never has to work
with
again,
Kenny
that
Loggins,
guy.
and I think he wrote Footloose, that song as well. I'm pretty sure.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
really?
he was amazing. Yeah, still is. Yeah, incredible.
Now I got the Cyclones song right here. Would you like to hear it?
I would.
Okay, let's play it.
You
This
didn't
one's
ask
called.
Jamie, but would you like to hear it too, Jamie?
Yeah, of course I would.
Remember this song? Got No Car.
Got no car.
Now, remember, Brian was still in high school.
Oh yeah.
Just another cheap trick. I got no wheels. No, can't stand how it feels. No, there can't be no.
Now, Brian played a huge drum set back then. Double bass. He had at least 6 toms on floating on top.
He was my hero, man. I'm telling
What
you.
happened to him?
Him and Volpe.
He's-
Brian's still around, man.
He's still around.
Yeah.
I meet up, and sometimes I stop by his real estate office and say hi to him.
He's no longer a drummer?
Yeah, he gave me all those sticks over there in that Ludwig drum package. He gave those to me.
Yeah, Brian is awesome.
Listen to these guitar licks of Carl.
That's fine. I'll look at this. That's cool. Thank you.
Real bad. Can't get no girl. I'm just a horny young lad. I got no car. No, can't go far. No.
Now this was 1977. That's pretty damn good recording. They had some great original music for that time.
Yeah.
And everybody knows Carl. I mean, he's been in magazines and he's a great guitar player.
This guy's ripped, man.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah. All right, that's to you, Brian.
But that was something he did in high school?
Yeah, he was. So
He was a high school when I met. He was
Yeah.
2 years older than me, I think, or a couple years older.
I was in junior high school. I guess they call it middle school now.
Yeah.
Today, but anyway, junior high school. I was at First Avenue, and we had a junior high dance, and the item played, and they had chairs set up like concert style, and then they had where people could dance in the rest of the gym, and everybody was dancing. I was sitting front row in the seats, just transfixed watching these guys play, and they were total rock stars, man. I was like, wow, Brian, awesome. Yeah, man.
Now, before you came in, Chris, Jamie was telling us about bands he jammed with. What was the first professional band you jammed with?
The first professional band I jammed with. Gosh, I think it might have been, as far as, a sign band was Cry Wolf, was a sign band. And then I did some stuff with Delana, who was on that Rockstar Supernova show, and did some touring with her and whatnot. But yeah, those were...
You do a lot of studio. You're playing with a lot of heavy hitters. I mean, everybody's always saying, hey, where's that stuff with George Lynch, man? We
Yeah.
want to hear it.
I know. It's coming, man. It's coming. So I did an album... we spent a year on it, did an album with George Lynch, and the singer is Corey Glover from Living Colour. And
Wow, the lead singer of Living Colour.
yeah, Cult of Personality, all that. Yeah, so that's
I saw
Corey.
them open for Guns N' Roses once.
Oh, yeah, at the Coliseum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was there.
Yeah,
That was
man.
the infamous Dancing with Mr. Brownstone night.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, so we did an album, and it is coming out. We were hoping it would come out in January, but it's going to be March. I just found out officially last week. But yeah, we spent a year on it. It's a really good album. I'm super proud of it. And Corey wrote most of. Well, it's interesting because I write lyrics and vocal arrangements as well. So I think I wrote 4 of the songs lyrics, and then Corey wrote maybe 4 himself, and then we collaborated on the remaining 4. But we ended up collaborating on really everything as it went through. We would just sit down and kind of look at each other and go, "What do you think?" And but we really reworked a bunch of the songs while, you know, we listened to them, and George had me go up to he has a studio at his house up in Castaic, and we would sit down and go, how can we make this song better? And in this environment in the music business right now, it's very rare to have that. Usually you get paid to do a record, it's not a lot of money, and you just bang it out as quick as you can and get to the next thing.
Wow.
And this is more of like, you know what, let's really take our time and do it right. So I'm super proud of what we've done. Yeah. So I can't wait for that to come out. And I got to kind of do my thing a little bit. I wasn't just, you know, the background studio guy. I got to really, bless you, I got to really play. It was fun.
I mean, you do a lot of promo stuff too. I see you filming a lot of videos, doing drum demos. I mean, you are constantly busy. Like every time you turn your head.
That's one thing I'd like to mention here is that Chris is really smart, and he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's doing it the right way.
Thank you.
Where we have a lot of artists, and us, Aquarian, we're actually really deep into social, you know, the media and all that. And what Chris is doing is what every artist I would advise should do. Not only is he doing this to support himself, but he's also supporting establishments like us, like Aquarian. And it's all, you're on the same team. And so I try to always promote or do anything I can for Chris, more obviously in his band, which Chris Brady, our artist relations, does as well. That's very important. And every time I look at Chris's posts, I see Aquarian drum heads, your cymbals, and that goes a long way. And we like to put more effort into guys like that because it's a win-win situation.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
No, I really appreciate that. Thank you, because I you know, honestly, I am so grateful to have the endorsement deals that I have, and it's really important to tag everybody in it.
Yes.
But also more than anything, it started because I'm grateful to have that, and I want to, you know, help promote everything. But yeah, it does. It really all works together as a team, and the more I found. You know, people responding to that, I was like, wow, this is a very cool thing, man,
and
early on.
We are really grateful and thankful we have guys like you.
Thanks, man.
Which, like when I wanted to sign him, how did Jimmy Deanda, who plays with the Bullet Boys, or he's the original Bullet Boys.
I seen them play in concert.
Jimmy's an amazing person, like his heart and everything. I love the guy. We were at a show of his. I think he was playing. He had this band, and I sat in on a song or a couple songs. And I remember I got off, and you came up to me. You go, "Hey, I'm Chris. You're Aquarian. I played in Cry Wolf." And when you said Cry Wolf, I went, "Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I know who you are." But I didn't know him, but I knew his band. But I didn't know him personally. So that, and then Jimmy said, "Yeah, this is my friend Chris Moore. Jamie, you should meet him. He's a ripping drummer." I go, "Yeah, I've heard I remember his band." Yeah. When I didn't know you, and I
was. So you're a liar.
just by talking to you in your motivation, and I mean that was everything. I was like, and I immediately went to Chris, and I'm like, "Chris, man, I think you should sign this guy." I mean, and you know, Chris is always. "Oh, Jamie, God, you know all these rock guys," and you know it's like you know you got to be careful. We're not just going to sign anyone. But we looked at Chris and Chris Moore, and I was talking about Chris Brady. We look at Chris Moore, and we're like, "Yeah, he's got it. He's got the goods."
So now, Chris, you've got sponsors for every piece of hardware. Your sticks, your cymbals, your drums. Yeah. Okay. Plug your sticks. What sticks are you playing right there?
So these are made by Ahead, and this is actually a different model that these are kind of a prototype that I was trying out. But I normally play the Tommy Lee Studio sticks, and I love them. It's because I hit so hard. I was breaking sticks. I would go through, just like in a practice session, I'd go through at least a pair of sticks
in one
every
session.
hour.
So are they nylon? These are composite material?
Is that 5Bs?
It's like a 5BX.
No, the ones you go through.
Yeah. 5Bs is what I was playing 5BX. And so I was breaking them all the time. And so I called them and I said, "Hey, this is my problem." And the main thing is because I play what's called open lefty, I play like this, hi-hat on the left hand instead of crossed over like that. Well, that allows me to really wind up and smack the snare drum. So I was always breaking my snare stick, okay? Anyway, and so what happened was I looked into these sticks, and they're amazing. They last, pretty much forever. And when they wear out, so this is basically a polyurethane sleeve on top, and inside is an alloy metal core.
Whoa!
What you do,
yeah.
when this wears out, you unscrew the tip, pull off the sleeve. Pull off the sleeve.
No way.
And then you bake another sleeve at 270 degrees for 5 minutes. Slam it down on here and seat it, and then screw the tip back on. You have a brand new stick. I love it.
Wow! I didn't know so much technology could go into a drumstick.
Yeah, I literally, I'll be like, hey, somebody will call me, hey, what's going on? I'm baking drumsticks, But anyway, and so I endorse D-Drum is the brand of drums that I play. D-Drum is amazing. I'm super psyched to play those drums. Soul Tone cymbals.
I got one right there. Yeah. I got it from this guy, Zach Huckabee.
Okay, so Soul Tone cymbals, I did a video that Drum Talk TV put on. I just hit 90,000 views on that one. I'm super psyched. I did it in their studio. I just did another Why Not song at Soul Tone Cymbals, and I think they're gonna release it in November. But it was called Kingdom Come, and then and so then I endorse, of course, Aquarian drum heads, and I endorse Ahead drumsticks, and then Axis percussion. Axis makes the best bass drum pedals in the world, and I've been playing those for years, and I love them. So those are the companies that I proudly endorse.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Man.
Andy endorses Sex Wax, except you haven't come down to pick up your endorsement yet. I gotta get you in the water.
I gotta get in the water.
I have extra wetsuits
and
boards.
Dude, I'm so scared of the sharks. I can't do it anymore.
No, Sharks. That's another group.
The Sharks and
Shark Island.
Let me just go right here. The Sharks, Smile, Clone, Stormer.
Wow.
Come on. Alice in Thunderland, remember those guys?
Oh yeah.
And then of course I was at the first at Pasadena Oddfellows Hall. I was at the first show.
Oh wow, that's by my favorite Ralph's.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
so I was at the first show after Mark Tureen had left Rat. And Rat played at the Oddfellows Hall, and the crowd was chanting, "We want Mark," as they came on stage. And Steven got up and said, "Keep dreaming," and they started their first song. That was
dreaming.
Yeah, and
how do you think that made Mark feel?
Well, they were always great, even. So it was Oddfellows Hall, and Armored Saint, of course. Armored Saint used to play with us all the time.
I love those guys.
Yeah, right on.
Now getting him in the water. Don't worry about the sharks.
By the way, they're called the Men in Gray Suits.
I went. we met up. Jamie met up. We went up. Of course, I was on my boogie board, but I paddled out with this guy, and he's so hardcore. I felt things hitting on my legs, and you know what? People told me they're baby leopard sharks.
They were baby sharks. They come up and nibble on your toes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
There's a
And then you pet them.
and then the water's really clear,
Wow.
and I saw these little things swimming away.
whiskers.
I'm going, what the hell was that? And this guy who was fishing goes, "Oh, those are baby leopard sharks." Problem.
No, I take my dog for a walk every now and then at Huntington Beach.
Yeah,
at the
I surf there too.
Yeah, down by Golden West.
Oh yeah,
anyway,
that's where I surf. Golden West.
So I was with my older son. We're walking the dog, and we're in the water with our feet, just kind of maybe up to our ankles, whatever. And my son goes, "Hey, Dad, I think I just saw a stingray."
Yeah.
And I go,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, maybe,
No, that's for
so
real.
anyway,
Yeah,
then all of a
maybe.
sudden he goes, "I just saw another one." And I'm like, "Okay, well, we better maybe get out." And right then we saw a kid with his dad, and the kid goes, "Hey, Dad, what's that?" And he goes, "That's a stingray, son. Get out of the water." So we stayed out. Anyway, I got home and I looked it up, and there was, at that time, there were more like stingray attacks or whatever they call them. Like in history, there had never been that many in some, at that until that year. But yeah, no more of that.
Being a drummer, you don't want any to sting your feet there.
No, that would be bad.
Your double bass action would
You would
really
need a Def Leppard drum kit.
Actually, your truth. There's very much truth what you said, because right there at Golden West,
yes,
my buddy got stung there really bad. He was in so much tears. I had to drive him home. Then a year later, My other buddy we both surf with
Yeah.
got stung.
Yeah.
And then about 2 years later, a third guy that we all surf with, same crew,
Yeah.
he got the stinger swiped him on the foot.
No,
So,
is this the one where you have to urinate on the wound?
yes,
or-
correct.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
hot
buddy
water.
of mine did that,
Wow.
and I had to urinate on his foot. He's like, Dan, thank you. I'm like, for what, a golden shower?
Dan wanted to piss on this guy for years.
Yeah.
Well, I think that
You gotta
was
shuffle your feet.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, you
right.
gotta
There
show
are
every-
thousands of them out there.
that was the original name of that street before they changed it to Golden West. was
Stingray?
Golden Shower.
Oh,
Because that's where all the stingrays hang out.
seriously?
Yeah.
What
That's
about,
what I heard anyway.
funny. What about sharks? How often have you seen sharks in the water?
Okay,
And
honestly.
I mean real sharks, not
honestly.
a pussy little lemon
No,
shark.
honestly, quite a few times I've seen sharks.
Big ones.
I have been in Huntington Pier surfing with my buddy, where in the morning, always early in the morning, but where there was a great white sighting out there by the
Yikes.
pier. There must have been a couple dozen people running to the end of the pier, freaking out, taking pictures. And some of the surfers, most of them, we just sat there like, well, okay. I mean, what? He's probably just passing by. He's like,
passing by, yeah.
He's not going, hey, I want to eat that surfer. No, because usually if a surfer or if a swimmer does get attacked, it's because there's abnormal splashing. The shark thinks you're a seal in most cases. That's usually what it is. But yes, I've seen sharks. I've seen them. You hear a couple guys, hey, shark. We'll look, we'll see the fin, go, yeah.
They're not.
But
They're
that's
not
about
there
it.
for it's fiberglass and foam. That tastes really good. And I love Dr. Zog's wax. It just tickles my fancy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What
No,
about
they're not going to bite.
what about jellyfish? Have you ever stung by jellyfish?
yeah.
I've
You
heard
have,
horror
Chris?
stories.
I
that-
never have, and I live in the water, and
You just jinxed yourself.
I
by the
just
way.
got, yeah. And by the way, there's a joke that all my crew, my buddies, every time we go surf, they're like, Jamie, with the stingray, they're like,
Yeah.
you're next.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not.
No, they don't
That
say
could
that.
be
They
your
say,
new surf,
Knock it
a
on.
new surf band, Jamie and the Stingrays.
yeah, they say you're next.
Oh,
Oh, you got all the good
Yeah.
ones
See, I
today.
got stung by a jellyfish, and everybody tried to trick me into getting having peeing on it. And so I was like, no, that isn't what you do.
Yeah, you need urine, just call me. I'll pee on
Yeah.
your feet. No
Yeah.
problem.
It's like
Dan
if
is a
you've ever
fetishist.
seen my big fat Greek wedding with the Windex, the father squirts Windex on everything. It's like peeing on.
Yeah.
You see people with
Anyway.
pee bottles, for at the lifeguard tower. We have the heavy stingray days.
So anyway, back to drumming.
Yeah, back to drumming. How do we get away with it? It's all
Yeah.
Jamie's fault because he's a surfer.
Hey man, nothing wrong with that.
I know.
So what else? Do you play drums?
I do not, but I have a good friend who drums.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to ask you, what is the secret to a good drummer? To a great drummer, you guys, both of you. I want to,
Secret to a great drummer.
yeah.
I don't know. I'd
Is
have
it-
to
is it
consider myself
performance?
great to know.
I mean, me and Jamie were talking on the phone the other day, and there's we're not going to say any names, but there are a lot of big superstars out there that are in big bands playing drums, but then you see them try to solo, and
Okay.
and it doesn't happen, man.
Yes, that would be a guy like me.
Safety in numbers. Just
Actually,
like Discovery.
well, it's kind of true. I mean, I have a lot of friends that are drummers. I know guys that are in really big bands, and I know guys that are not in really big bands. And I know guys that are not in really good big bands that can groove, that can, like, they've got chops everywhere where I'm going, wow. And then I have guys that are in super big bands that, well, if they're not playing the band songs, they can't play their way out of a paper bag, pretty much in the nicest way possible, because I'm one of those guys. That's why lately, in my later years, I have been really trying to take tips from Roy and Jimmy Keegan and Chris Brady and Steve DeSanza. All these guys are artists. I try to improve my technique. But yeah, that's I want to put myself in that same category because I am not dissing on anybody. It's just a fact that, number one, if you're playing professionally in a band, hands down, no one can give you shit because that's quite an accomplishment. Because there's more than just playing when you're a musician in a band. There's also the camaraderie. There's also your work ethic. you know, how often you are like Chris and his social networking and everything, but Chris can hold his own. I mean, Chris can go on there and play solo with mics on there. And I mean, if you did that to me at this point, me not playing every day all the time, I would like have a heart attack. I mean, yeah, seriously, because especially for a guy like me, I would have to be sitting in with bands every other night, playing every day with my band, being on that hot seat where you have to play good, playing considerably, touring and playing every day. That gets you good, and that gets you very consistent.
Yeah. Can you just jam? Like
Well, yes,
my friend Corey
of course.
Miller, the famous tattoo artist.
You're gonna have to pick up that name you're dropping.
Corey Miller, 6 feet under, in downtown Upland. He used to play for Manson Youth. He could just hit the drums with my friend Vince from Body Count, and they could just jam.
Yeah.
And they'll just jam, and he just gets right in there.
See, that's the funnest kind
those
of
two,
playing.
they've known each other since like high school, and that's another thing. When you've got
each other.
you've got a
Camaraderie,
good chemistry,
correct.
camaraderie and a chemistry for, you know. Oh yeah, I could play to his bass, I could beat to, you know. And then you got that little powerhouse backbeat, you know. And even though they never really performed together or nothing, but
Yeah, then Steve Alba comes up, and Steve comes and starts playing guitar, and it's like,
That's
You
Jessica
know-
Alba's brother, isn't it?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
my
the
yeah.
famous skateboarder, yeah.
And it's kind of, if you look at Chris's band and most of the bands you've played in that
Yeah.
you're really into, including this newest one,
Yeah.
you can tell there's camaraderie. I mean, you
Yeah.
watch it, you watch that bass player, you watch the singer, and you can tell you guys feel comfortable together because it's in the pocket, it's locked in. It's
Totally.
very impressive. I only wish I had something like that. I look up to that, and you're a very good player. I always watch, what does Chris have? And I watch this, and I'm like, damn, because you're right on the mark.
Thanks,
every
man.
time.
Thanks.
So, and that's what makes a professional, actually, in my book, along as being a team member with the band. That's everything.
Oh yeah, and when you're playing big, sometimes you can't see the crowd. Sometimes there's just a sea of people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also a thing that kind of feeds your high, doesn't it? When you could see the sea of people in the crowd, and you know, from playing a gig. I mean, you've probably all played gigs where there maybe 10 people show up.
Of course.
You can play another gig, and it's just wall to wall people,
Of course.
as far as your eyes can
And
see.
you know, a lot of the time for me, at least when I was playing to large crowds, was mainly a lot in the 80s. It would be if there's a lot of people just in there going nuts. I don't know about for Chris, because Chris has a little bit better technique than I do, but I would go bonkers to where I'd have blood on the heads. I'd be splitting my knuckles open. I was just dripping sweat, going like a maniac, breaking everything in sight. And then when I would play to small, more intimate, and not as many people, I found myself more relaxed, not hitting as hard, playing cleaner, better pocket, which all that, the reason I said that is because a really, really seasoned good drummer can play calm and in the pocket in any situation. Where a guy like me, I'm freaking out. Blah, oh my God! Oh, I can't. You know, so
I saw that picture of you on Facebook with your hand up. A lot of drummers. Do you guys tape up your fingers when you're doing a big heavy show? I seen you.
Well,
your
let me-
hand
let
was
me-
all blistered up. I
Let him
mean,
answer.
No, it depends. So like right now, I actually have I get these little cuts, and like in there, and so when I start to get that, especially if the weather starts getting dry, and I'm playing a lot, it'll my hands will start to crack a little bit. So I usually tape up. I use like a athletic tape or whatever, and I'll just tape up those spots, and it does the job, you know. But it doesn't necessarily matter for a show. What I'll do is like in my studio, if you see photos or videos of me playing in the studio, I have a rig behind me that's almost like what would be called a wedge, a drum wedge, where it's speakers, monitors that would be like I'm playing at, say, a House of Blues or something like that. So the idea is that I practice as though I'm on stage in front of, you know, a big crowd or a small crowd, whatever. So when I actually get on stage, it's like, oh, this is like home. As long as when I'm sitting at the drums, everything's where it needs to be. It sounds the same. I use those in-ear monitors so I can hear everything the same way. So that way, depending on the venue and you know the crowd and all that, it's designed to be the same every time.
So who do you follow? I know, like, sometimes I've heard drummers say, I follow the guitar player, or I follow the bass player,
Or the singer.
to get that unity there. That,
Yeah. and
What?
I follow the song.
You
It just depends. So in certain bands, I'll play with a metronome, a click that's going in my
Wow.
inner monitors, right? So I'll hear that. I'm using that as a reference point, and then you know we lock into that. With Why Not, we actually play without a click, so because there's a lot of tempo changes and there's a lot of time signature changes. So rather than trying to program a click, we just what I call go cowboy, and we just play without the click. And so that band is very interdependent on that chemistry and that you know that overall sort of mutual thing of okay, we're agreeing. You know, subconsciously, this is the tempo, and we go with it. And those guys, Billy Alexander is a guitar player, Tim Starachi is the bass player, and then Rocky Cooner's the singer. And we really lock in well together. And we started as kind of an internet, you know, based Rush tribute band, and Billy's an amazing songwriter, and he started writing originals in the style of Rush, and so it became this, wow, this is actually, Billy's just unreal songwriter, so we were going, wow, this is great, so we started doing that, but everything was still, Tim lives in Florida, and then Rocky and Billy and I live in Orange County, so we still had this internet-based thing going on. We didn't actually meet until May. Tim came out and we rehearsed together in LA, you know, a couple of days, and then we did our first show in August. And again, just showing up and playing together in the same room it was like we've been playing together forever. So it's that kind of a thing that as a drummer, you really look forward to playing with good musicians who get that, and we can all lock in together.
And you know what's interesting?
Yeah, please.
Is that what he just said is exactly the way of thinking in the field that Rush has.
Yeah. By the way,
It's the exact they all three of those guys, it's that same thing. There's so much going on, and they can just subconsciously.
Yes.
That's what you need to play material like that, to play it good. Actually, in my opinion.
my drummer friend worships at the altar of Rush.
Oh, yeah?
He considers that the best drummer ever.
Yeah.
Who are your favorite drummers?
I learned how to play drums on Rush albums.
Wow. No, go on, Jimmy.
When you were young, and when did you start picking up the drums? Was it elementary school? It was elementary school because
by
you
the
were
way-
what, 6th grade, and doing that color guards.
Yeah, I mean, I was the typical drum kid where, you know, banging on pots and pans. My parents bought me a paper drum set, destroyed it, got me another one. That was like, you know, 4 and 5 years old.
Oh shit! You
And
started way
then-
early.
Yeah, and then I got a legit snare drum and cymbal. I think when I was 6, and then I got my actual first drum set. A lot of folks know this story, but my neighbor Kenny Blair, his family was moving, and over the summer they had to store everything, you know, put everything in storage until their new house was built, and so Kenny stored his drum set at my house, and the agreement was I could play it, and then at the end of the summer I'd give it back to him, and we never gave it back to him. And my parents bought it, you know, and so anyway, that was about, I think that was around 4th grade,
Wow.
and then and so I've been, you know, was playing drums kind of ever since. But yeah, so favorite drummers?
Yeah.
Like what
And
albums did you
hold on.
play? Like
And
by the
you-
time you got into
and-
junior high, what groups were you playing your drum? You guys play a record on
And this
spin
is-
in vinyl and start playing with it?
Yeah, I started, so when I got that drum set, I started learning how to play beats, and I got really excited, and I actually took the drum set into my parents' study, and I put on, because they had a stereo in there, and I put on the Carpenters record.
Wow.
Because that was all we had.
Hurting each other.
Right? Yeah. Then
I had
my
the
brother came home with Kiss Alive,
Wow.
and that was it. I was a huge Kiss fan, and then when Van Halen 1 came out, that was it.
Yeah.
So as a kid, I was playing to, you know, of course, Kiss early on, and then, you know, Van Halen, Ted Nugent, Led Zeppelin, Queen, Alice Cooper, all that stuff, and then, you know, that graduated on to you know, bigger and better things, and started playing original music and all that. But yeah, man, all those drummers were were
Oh,
my favorites.
all
growing up.
those, yeah.
Now I really there's a guy named Shane Gaulis who plays with a band called Bias in Japan, and they're the biggest band in Japan. And Shane lives in Simi Valley, and but he travels to Japan to play with those guys, and he plays with another band called Cosmo Squad, which is amazing. And Shane, I think, is one of the best drummers in the world. And then Tony Royster Jr.
Tony Royster. I
that's good.
first saw him when he was 10 years old,
Yes.
and I saw that drum solo.
Yeah.
And he would just so.
Yeah.
It
He's
was so
amazing. Yeah.
natural.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna just play this little
Yeah.
drum solo. Here we go, and my jaw just dropped.
Yeah.
How old is he now? This was.
What is he? 30?
Yeah,
Early
30.
30s.
Oh my God! It's been 20 years since I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then,
Yeah.
you know, Neil Peart has always been the pinnacle for me, not just in technique, but just as a percussionist, as someone who can take something in, you know, a piece of music and really do something interesting with it. That's just, there's such a talent to that. And then in, you know, more of the kind of current bands, there's a band called Periphery, and Matt Halpern is the drummer, and he's unbelievable. The guy's just a machine, but I don't mean that in a negative way. He is just an unbelievable groover, but his chops are unparalleled. So yeah, those are some of my favorite drummers.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember this, Jeff, but like a drummer like kind of goes unrecognized because they're always in the back. But like when we saw Motorhead,
Oh yeah,
in
we went to Motorhead
Riverside,
together. That's right.
The drummer opened up. He just did a
Mickey D.
quick.
Oh,
Dude,
Mickey D.
yeah,
Mickey
Mickey
D.
D.
just he let it
then,
go
I
that
mean,
night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden Lemmy comes
Who now
on
plays with
stage,
Scorpions.
and then
Yeah.
and then Lemmy.
He was
just-
doing that double bass.
Well, and, you know, the other thing is that I love that's going on in music right now is that this classic rock vibe is kind of making this nice comeback. And Rival Sons is one of my
Oh,
favorite bands. So
I
Mike
Those
love
guys
Rival
are
Sons.
right out
Mike
of Long
Miley's
Beach,
great.
Mike
right?
Miley is an unbelievable
Yeah.
drummer, man. And you know what's crazy is like you talk about just playing and getting better just by virtue of touring and playing every night. That guy, so
He's
I've
gotten
seen
so much better.
Yes, I've
yeah.
seen Rival Sons several
Uh-huh.
times. Last time I saw him, his chops were
Yes.
just off the chart. He was so
I-
good.
Are these younger guys?
No, Michael's
He's mid-30s, I
mid-30s,
think. Yeah.
mid to late 30s.
That's one thing that I wanted to touch base on is that, like you were saying, he was getting better is kind of like what I experienced in the 80s playing in my Hollywood bands. I remember when Motley started. I remember when Guns N' Roses started. And I remember when us, Funhouse, started. And basically, it was the same pattern. Although Funhouse, we got stopped in our tracks right at our peak. But all these bands, I seen them start off sounding horrible. Wow. Like the drums, the out of tune, all those bands I mentioned, really bad. And then now you look at them and they're professional. They're just, all the playing just makes you more consistent.
Oh yeah,
and-
man.
Also, I think
As
is a
drummers,
lot.
as drummers, do you consider Pete Best a martyr?
What is it? I'm sorry.
As drummers, do you consider Pete Best a martyr?
Oh,
Till this day, he doesn't know why the Beatles got kicked him out of the group.
Okay, a question coming from up north in Ventura
Okay.
from one of my rehab friends.
You don't have. Why do you have to say that every day? Like, make it mysterious. We got
I
a one
don't
coming
know.
from.
He always calls in, or he texts me. What the hell did he just say? He said,
You met him in rehab.
how hard is it to play the drums and sing? Is that difficult?
Well, in my first band, Rampage, because we couldn't find a singer for a while, I actually sang and played drums. And I'm not a good singer. Okay, I'm just not. I'm not, man. But it was like, okay, somebody's got to do it, whatever. And it's, you know, it's not hard. It's just practice. That's all. It's just practice, just like anything else.
I think it's important. Have you ever played gigs and the PA system or the mixer guy is just horrible? And I
Well,
think that makes a big difference too. Sometimes.
the nightmares I've had with playing with PAs and sound guys, the biggest one is when Funhouse, when we played our first big gig, and it was an arena, and it was huge, and there was probably only a few hundred people in an arena that holds 15,000 people. Well, one of the big problems, of course, in future, I got used to it because, you know, you end up getting better. But, man, the big places, back then when I was playing, we didn't have in-ears. We had wedges.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm on this stage, and my guitar's and my bass player. Wait, I got to put my binocular. They're way the fuck at the end of the stage. The stage is like a football field. I'm exaggerating, of course, but that's pretty much what it was like. And I remember the song starting. I had no clue where the one was. I had no clue. All I hear is a big hum. That was very, very frightening. But luckily it wasn't a sold out arena, but we did play places that were big where there were a lot of people. And that was very, I finally got it down, but it was very hard. Very, very hard.
Oh,
The hardest gigs for me to play, really, to be honest.
Hey, I have a question for you. Is it possible for people to call in and be on the show with us?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Okay, so I want to get my...
You have to give Dan the number, and he could call it out.
Yeah, 909-360-8330 is our
Can
number.
you? Can
or
you?
I could call them from my phone in here.
But they got to know that Chris is. Can you notify your person and say, "Hey, we're going to call you from the station," so we get a nice, clear connection? Is that the best way to do it, Dan?
Yeah.
Or if they call in to this number, can I get my Why Not brethren to be on? Oh, man, thank you.
That's
Thank
okay,
you,
brother.
man.
I would have brought 2 more, but I didn't know.
Thank you, man.
That hat is 1/3.
So,
That hat is 1/3 ours.
so can I get my Why Not band on the phone and we'll play our new
Yes.
song for you guys?
Yeah, do that.
That's
play
cool.
that. Could someone fix that pedal? I want to hear you play. We maybe hook up my ride cymbal too or something. And
Okay.
Yeah, are we gonna do this drum off thing where we're
well,
gonna
I
see
wanted to
who's
put.
playing drums?
Look, I wanted to
off.
put.
Give me a break.
I want to put Dan.
Drum off, give me a
check this
break,
out.
you sneers.
Check this out. I want to put Dan and Patrick in the green room, and then we'll just play a short.
wow.
And you got to guess what drummer is playing.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, you want me to do that
Well,
now?
Moore's the man, so...
All right, let me check out this
yeah,
kid.
I think
Hang on
I'm
here.
going now.
Okay,
I'm gonna
check
leave.
out this kid. Let's play. I'm gonna play this song while he's fixing the kit. This is a band that I worked with Jamie, and this song's called "Rise" by Mandy Lion.
Misery and pain, this and loss of a face, an empty mortal game. Or will it be forgiven?
That's true. I was down.
Or will not be alive forever, twisting to emerge. Rise up from the grip of domination.
How was too bad?
Rise up, break the chains. Marching in unity, arising from the sea of blood. The slave becomes the master. The glory of sweet revenge all will be forgiven. The power now returns. All will not be lost forever, twisting to emerge. Rise up, rise up, rise up from the grip of domination. Rise up, rise up, rise up, break the chains.
again, well, I'm the zombie teacher learning the stuff that I'm going to copy and everything else. At the old Harold Summer building, but then Glenn has moved the heroin into his mouth. He was the only one. We were in the balls and everyone was sweating, but he was shooting up. But he covered up, he was wearing like a biker jacket, 110 inside the he had a biker jacket down, his nose covered. I heard the manager telling one of the guys huddling around. And one of the guys on his fingers and his yeah, Jerry and those guys were evil. He said a lot of it. That's why he was doing it. Not that it was just from Seattle. So Jerry would tell me, he's telling me spaced out, and they were all pretty much seeing how this was going. Yeah. And then he was glassy-eyed and seemed unresponsible the rest of the day. Wow, is that the end of the song? Great song, great song. We're back in the air, Geoffrey.
There you go.
There we are.
Now that nut
We're
fell
back
out,
with
but
Jamie,
I'm
Chris, and Jeff
I
Sargent.
hold it. You can do. Here we go.
Hey, are you on the radio right now?
We are, sir.
Yes, we are live. And we're on YouTube as well.
We're on YouTube as well, boys.
Let's just move this over here.
Chris is fixing everything Jeff screwed up.
Now, actually, this you're playing from World War III is Vinny Appice playing drums.
Really?
Yeah, this was one of my favorite songs to play on our set. Yeah, except I throw a little double bass into it.
Great drum work.
Yeah.
What is the best drum song of all time? Both of you, Chris and Jamie. What is the best drum song you've ever heard? As a drummer, what is the best drummer on any song? If you could hear one song for a great drummer, what would it be?
I don't know, probably any song that Vinny Colaiuta plays.
As a young kid growing up, when I first got interested in rock and roll, when I wanted to sell my dirt bike and get a guitar and be a rock star, I love the drums from Radar Love.
Oh, yeah,
that
that's
drummer.
great. There's so many.
I just love that bum 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 bum.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like a lot of people ask me, well, what's your favorite snare head? And I'm kind of like, well, I don't know. Ask me when I wake up in the morning. It depends on what mood I'm in. Naturally, I work at Aquarian, and I can pretty much grab any heads I want. But, yeah, pretty much a snare sound is very personal. And
I'll make it easy, man. The short answer is Aquarian Force 10.
the Force 10, yeah.
Sorry, Aquarian Triple Threat. That's the best snare head.
I find myself going back and forth from a single ply, real sensitive, all the way to our heaviest duty double ply. We actually make a 3-ply snare drum head. It's called the Triple Threat. I'm very proud of that head because we're the only drum company that makes one like that makes a 3-ply regular drum set snare head. And it's a very sensitive head. As well as you know, Aquarians mainly, we're very well known for our rigid hoop. We have a patent hoop, so your material won't slip or detune. And our coating, Aquarian has 4 different kinds of coatings. A lot of people don't know that. We have our vintage coating, which is very popular. We have our Jack DeJohnette black coating, which is a different grit and accelerator in it. And we also have our regular Z100 coating, which comes in black and white. Both colors sound the same. And then we just came out with a gray slate. It's a very durable coating. It goes with the Reflector series that Eric Moore helped us develop. And so a lot of people don't realize that. usually drumhead companies, oh yeah, we got a coated head, and half the time the coating isn't really what you need for brushes or what have you. Well, we have 4 different kinds, and we're very innovative and much into helping drummers create their sounds, as well as those electronic I was telling you about. We also have an umbrella of tools called the Kit Tools.
Right.
We have a kick patch you can carry with you on the road. Like if Chris here just ripped his kick drum head, you could just peel this kick patch, put it on. He's ready to go. To
Man, and the Band-Aid.
thing.
That just didn't even come to my mind till you mentioned it right now.
And we have the T-tabs. You get 5 of them. They're reusable. It's our way of not using moon gel. Moon gel will fly off, all that stuff. So people use duct tape and all that stuff. We have T-tabs, and we have the portable power dot you can reuse over and over
and over
again.
Wow.
And they're reusable. You can go from play some real mellow tune, jazz tune, and then pop that Dura dot on your snare, and you're ready to do a Lars Ulrich Metallica song.
Now, over the years, I put this drum kit together. I bought the whole blue kit, all the 4-piece, and it came up with the real crappy cymbals. I got it for $60 off this guy. I got the snare drum, a Tama, what is a Starcaster or whatever it is?
Star Classic.
I bought that. I got that at a pawn shop for like $60.
That's a good snare, I think.
It had a broken. I ordered 2 lugs. It had 2 broken lugs, and I replaced that. And the cymbals, like I said, I got from Zach Huckabee from the Sunset Cannons. And then I saw stuff on sale really cheap, the stands, and I just added it together and to where it is now. And I do have cowbells.
Wow, holy shit.
Wow.
Sounds pretty good.
Wow, well, when you playing it, not when Jeff plays it.
I bought the double kick for $50 right out the door.
Nice. That sounds good, man.
Yeah,
I want to play the
friend
new
of-
Why Not?
Yeah, let's play that. Okay, Dan, can you help him get these guys on the air?
They're
Yeah.
on the air.
Oh, they're on the air.
Yeah.
Are they?
Oh,
Are my Why Not brethren on the
Oh,
phone?
oh.
Hi, Chris Moore's band members.
Hey.
Wow, hi, Chris Morris
Oh,
band
but
members.
guys, if you want me to call them, just walk in here and give me their number. I'll give them a call.
Oh, I thought they were on the line.
wait.
Are they on the line?
I think they're on his cell
Probably
phone.
listening.
Oh.
Tell
Okay.
them to call in to 909-360-8330.
This number right here.
Okay, hang on. So let me tell
That's 909-360-8330.
It's a 0, not an O.
Okay.
A 0. 909-360.
360
Uh-huh.
36.
330.
Ha ha ha.
Got this phone yesterday.
Yeah.
Is that your new phone, Jamie?
Yeah, I got the Note 8.
Oh, wow. You could print up posters with that.
Now I got a friend who plays drums.
Uh-huh.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, no,
I got a
no,
couple.
Dan, you told him wrong. You said, what do you call a guy who hangs out with musicians? No.
No, he's in the band Fart Barf.
Fart what?
Fart Barf.
Yeah.
Fart barf.
And did you meet him in rehab?
Was that another rehab
No,
guy?
I didn't meet him in rehab. I might hold on.
Yeah. That's good.
Thanks. I love this kit, man.
It's not a bad kit for for when I got into it.
You know, what you should do, though, be sure to check that everything's still here when I leave, because...
So I can imagine, can I make my set bigger with I Jeff Sargent solemnly swear to play Aquarian heads from now on.
You better.
Okay. I need to get some Aquarian heads for this kit.
Yeah, I have a connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
If you could-
also, I'm just telling you, man, you don't need tape on your drum heads. If
I
you
don't?
tune them right,
If I
no
tune,
tape ever.
see, that's what I need. I need to
Don't
learn
tape
this stuff, man.
I agree.
Whenever I go, if I go to a show and play a backline kit, in other words, where the venue is providing the drums, right?
Yes.
Whenever I see tape or moon gel or any of that stuff, I instantly take it off.
Wow.
You got to run the drums wide open.
Phone
Yeah.
call. Your
Okay.
band members are on
We
the
got-
phone.
Do I have Tim on the phone? Hey, can I hear him?
Come into the light, Tim.
Is he there? Yo, bro.
Tim.
Hey, talk to me, Dan. I can move your. I saw see the phone call. I can't look at me.
Hey,
Oh,
I
here
hear
it
him.
is.
Tim.
Hello.
All right.
Hey. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's up, bro?
How are you?
Hola from sunny Florida.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow, from Florida, man. Welcome to the Jeff Sargent Show, only on Chaotic Radio.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure, absolutely. I've been listening all morning. You guys are great.
Thank you.
Let's play our new song, shall we? Our new Rush cover. You want to hear it?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I
do that
just
in a few
plug it
minutes.
right in here.
Hang on here now.
We're
How you
high tech here.
How you doing,
This is
Tim?
a real radio station.
Oh, it's cool. It's like 70 degrees here. They're going to declare a state of emergency.
Oh my God. Hey,
I almost thought about getting up and shutting the window last night. How bad it is.
damn.
Yeah.
I now. So, what time is it over there where you at?
Oh, 11:41.
Oh, it's almost lunchtime. Lunchtime nuggets here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I was hoping we could get Billy and Rocky on the phone as well, but either way, we're gonna have to do this thingy here. So, Tim, do you want to introduce the new song?
Oh, yeah. This is off the 2112 album. Hey, can I first say something real quick?
Go.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
You guys were talking earlier about the connection between a drummer and a bass player,
Yeah.
you know? And for me and Chris, besides Taco Lita, which is very important,
Oh yes.
okay? Because he took me there, and it's now my new mecca on the West Coast.
That's right. That is right.
I think it's more nostalgic. I mean, I've had better places, but the place is just such a landmark, you know. And it's.
I got a very low bar.
Did you?
Know, so it was great.
Did you take
You know?
home some of those hot sauce packages?
No, I'm gonna next time. I'll be out in a couple
We'll
weeks.
send them to you.
We're
Yeah,
playing. By the way, we're playing at the Gas Lamp in Long Beach on November 19th. So Tim's flying out, and the night before that, on the 18th, we're going to do an acoustic set at Left of the Dial Records in Santa Ana, which was just voted in OC Weekly Record Store of 2017 in Orange County. So we're doing an acoustic set on November 18th. Full show at Gas Lamp on November 19th. Go ahead, Tim. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. So playing with Chris, I just want to get this out there real quick. You know, it's a really cool connection when you can find a drummer that goes there when you go there. You know how that is. I mean, it's just
Of course, yes.
it's just fantastic. You know, there's a type of symbiotic relationship going on. His meter's fantastic. He's a total beast. I love watching him play because it just freaks me out with that left-handed thing going on.
The Gas Lamp is one of my favorite venues to watch Chris perform.
That
Oh, yeah,
doesn't
he
sound
likes it up
creepy at
there.
all.
That place has such a great sound system and a stage, and there's no bad angles. No matter where you are in that club, it's like front row, man.
Dude, our first show there was just insane. It was packed wall to wall. You know, it was the first time we ever played live.
Yep.
You know, and everything went off without a hitch. It was just, that's when you know it's right, you know?
Yeah, man.
Well,
That's right.
that's all. You owe me
Good,
20
dude.
bucks now, Chris.
Thank you, bro. Yeah,
You got it.
I got you covered.
Okay, let's hear that song.
Okay, so here we go. This is let's give this a ride. Here we go.
Wow, what a great crisp sound.
Waiting for the winds of change to sweep the clouds away. Waiting What you own is your own kingdom. What you do is your own glory. What you love is your own power. What you live is your own story. In your head is the answer. Let it guide you along. Let your heart be the anchor and the beat of your soul.
By the way, watching Chris's face and
That was
Jamie's.
fun. That was
Wow.
great.
You guys love Neil Peart, don't you?
Now
Yeah.
I like that part where the drums went around a circle in my ears.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
How do you do that in the studio? How do you mix that to where
Very simple.
Pan.
Magic.
magic?
And soup.
Yes.
Okay, I want to give thumbs up to that and a high five to the mixer man who mixed these
beautiful.
tracks together.
And for Dan
Nice.
the man who got it on the air perfectly, you know?
That would be Billy Alexander.
Yep.
Thanks, Billy. Great job.
Yeah,
Hey,
Billy.
Yeah, I
Sam,
call-
how'd it
He's
sound
like
out there,
Dr.
buddy?
Frankenstein.
Yes.
You know, he's just fantastic. And the addition of Chris into Why Not was the final piece of the puzzle. You know, we already had the secret weapon, Rocky.
Yeah.
You know, and it just Billy's amazing. And you guys asked earlier what the best drum track is out there for drummers.
Yes.
I'm going to vote for Etheria.
Wow.
Theory. Oh, thanks, man. Hey, how did?
And natural science.
Yeah. Of course, man. Come on. And the middle section to Free Will.
Oh yeah, that
Oh,
I'm still
absolutely.
trying to nail
Those
that one
guitar
right.
licks, man. I love that guitar player, man.
By
That-
the way, even though I said I learned all my drums on Rush albums, I probably haven't played a Rush song in 20 years.
Wow.
And you know that kind of stuff you have to continuously play all the time.
No. Can a band survive with two drummers? Like Course of Empire has two drummers. Have you ever been in a band with two drummers?
No.
no.
But my buddy Robin Diaz is playing with Live right now because their drummer was injured, and they're doing two drummers right now. And Robin is amazing. He's an incredible drummer and super cool dude, and they're doing really well with that. Hey Tim, by the way, how's your new bass?
Oh, my new West Coast bass.
Yes, sir.
It's a beast. I'm thinking about keeping it and sending Billy my old one.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah. Well, it's a little difficult with me being over here and trying to fly with a whole bunch of gear.
Right.
You know, so I'm basically building a whole rig and everything out in the West Coast. And then
Nice.
maybe I'll just pack up the car one day and just move out there and go live under a bridge for a while.
Show up.
You know?
I love
So,
that.
Yeah.
so you're just coming here with your bass.
Yeah.
How many
that's
do
it.
you? How many will you play with this performance? Do you play the one bass through the whole gig, or do
Well,
you switch?
I have a vintage Rick, a '77 4001, and then I have a like a mid 2000s Geddy Lee Jazz. You know, which is I believe is just the best bang for your buck bass out there if you can find them.
Yeah.
You know, those Japanese made ones, they're just fantastic. And there are certain songs which I'd like to use each instrument on, but it's not imperative. I can pretty much play anything.
So are you playing 4-string bass? Are you one of those guys that jumped up to 5 strings and?
No, I hope this isn't politically incorrect, but I'm 5-string retarded.
Oh.
If you had an extra string, man, I don't know what to do.
I like you even more now.
The
I
thing
feel
is
the
this,
same way.
The thing is this. So, as it relates to, you try to get the best gear you can. D-drum drums and Aquarian heads, and Tim playing, Fender jazz bass or Rickenbacker or whatever. But really, the big secret is it's in the hands. It really is.
Yeah.
As a musician, it's in your hands, in your head, and in your heart. And what comes from you through the instrument is really the key to it. Tim's got this amazing style of playing that you can hear it on this track that we just played. It's like this guy's just an absolute beast on the bass,
Oh, shucks.
Yeah, man. Truth. Hashtag truth.
Hashtag true.
Why not?
Hashtag blessed.
It's helping this dude's
Yeah.
dreams come through. You know,
A tear.
This is fantastic.
Yeah, that's right, dude. I can't wait to hang with you, man. Tacolita.
So when's this gig? Let's announce this gig here.
Go ahead, Chris.
November 19th
November 19th, everybody.
at Gas Lamp in Long Beach.
The
YY
Gas
will perform
Lamp.
A full show.
Oh, yeah,
and
that's a great
we're
place.
we've added some songs to our set in addition to not just Rush covers, but originals. We have a couple of new originals, and then again, we're doing that acoustic thing the night before that at Left of the Dial Records in Santa Ana.
Which will be cool.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, we're on Facebook. Why not? You can't miss us. Google us. Why not?
Yep.
We got a YouTube channel. Why not? Everything's why not?
Yes.
You know.
Why not?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, why not? You
What
know,
else would
and-
you be doing?
Yeah, right,
So
yeah,
are
why
you
not?
watching?
Yeah.
Are you watching the show? Are you watching us on the live on YouTube right now with all the different camera
No.
angles? Oh, okay.
I'm actually, I got like one of those real job things. You know,
Oh.
that I work at. Yeah. So,
Oh, you're the guy.
yeah, I'm that guy. Yeah, I operate the Finger Crusher 2000 for 10 hours a day, which is a steel roll forming machine. You know,
Awesome.
Trust me. Yeah.
Well,
And,
you could
I
you
had
could
you
get
on
on his
Bluetooth all
Facebook
morning.
page when this show is over. Dan will post today's show on Facebook, and it will be on my Facebook. Friend me, Jeffrey Sargent, and then we'll post it on everybody's page here.
All right.
Who's in
Yeah.
the studio right now? We'll
Yeah.
post the YouTube video so we could see multiple
Yeah,
camera angles here.
Fantastic.
I met
That'll be
I
just
met,
great.
I met Dan Rupp at Facebook. Dan, are you?
We've got Pat Jankowicz here, my co-host.
It'll be through the end of the show if I spell the name, so I'll let Jeff give it to you. No, I gotta ask you guys.
And of course, Jamie and Chris, yes.
I once did an interview with Meatloaf's actress daughter,
Okay.
and she told me this.
Is that her
terrible-
name?
No, but
Oh,
she was
okay.
on she was on the Western show.
Okay.
She was dating a drummer,
Okay.
and she made the mistake of bringing him to dinner. And she said her dad Meatloaf tortured this drummer all through dinner with drummer jokes. What is the drummer joke you both hate the most? Let's hear each one.
I don't know any drummer jokes.
I don't.
I have short-term memory loss.
There it is.
Seriously, at Aquarian for 20 years, I hear Roy Burns tell the best jokes in the world all the time, and I don't even remember one.
It goes right out the ear by the end of the time. By the time you go home,
Well, actually, there's no drummer jokes because we're too perfect.
yeah, there's no drum. Not
Oh,
with
man,
these
that's
guys. It's always the bass player jokes, isn't it?
No, according to
Yeah.
Tim, tell us the bass player jokes. Remember that? How about that one on the internet that comes up and accidentally sleeps with the bass player?
Yeah,
This
that's a good one.
groupie.
Or he threw himself behind the train, right?
Yeah.
That's how it rolls.
You know, these two bass players were playing with the symphony, and they were doing Beethoven's Ninth. You know, and that piece has a long passage where there's no bass at all, right? So one of the bass players says to the other, "Hey, let's run across the street to the pub and grab a pint or two." You know, so they run over across the street, sneak out the back door, having a couple of pints, and you know they started getting a little bit like, "Hey, shouldn't we get back?" You know, kind of thing. And he goes, no. I took some string and I tied up the piece of music so we know it's going to go right to the last page, right to where we come in. So got the string, it's all tied up, no worries. You know, and okay, let's have another pint. You know, so sure enough, they keep drinking, and then all of a sudden they come staggering in, right, and they fall over and they're trying to pick up their basses and they just had too much to drink. And all of a sudden, one of the other musicians looks over and goes, "Hey, what the heck? What's going on with those guys?" And he goes, "It's the bottom of the ninth, and the bases are loaded, and the score's tied."
Ah, quack, 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 quack. Rim shot. Can we get a rim shot? Psh.
All right. Well, on that note, gentlemen, I got to get back in.
Hey,
All right.
talk soon, buddy.
All right. Thanks,
Yeah,
Tim.
absolutely.
I'll see
Hey,
you.
guys.
I'll see you in
Thank you
person
so
at the
much.
gig. All right.
Hey,
Oh,
take it easy.
fantastic. I'll definitely be excited for that. Okay.
All right.
Right on,
That's
man.
the
All right,
first time
fellas, you have a
I've
great one.
Take
All
care,
right.
man.
Calling in,
Bye, Tim.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Okay.
Tim. Take it easy with the Finger Crush 3000.
Okay, we're about to go over, so I need to reset the clock.
Okay.
And,
Reset the clock.
So I'm just gonna play.
This is great about the Jeff Sargent show because all the guests we've had have been so exciting that we
Yeah,
go
we
overtime.
We're going overtime with you two, and you're not even hot chicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna play "Tears of a Dolphin" from the Surf Kings.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, where'd you get that?
Hearts go astray. Oh.
Wow, that was a surprise.
You surprised me with the Mandy
Yeah,
Lion
okay.
stuff. I was gonna bring some fun outs, but who gives a shit about that? That's old days.
Well, you can always bring new stuff. Jake, you can transfer your type yourself something.
Let's do that. Hey, let's do our drum off thing where these guys got to guess.
Yeah, there you go. We're
Okay,
back
over there,
on.
All right. And we're gonna play this game here where Patrick and Jay have to go in the green room and turn their backs, and they have to guess which drummer is playing what. No, these guys got to leave the room. All right. Okay. They have to step right here.
Keep talking. It's on the radio. You're live. Okay. Keep talking. Say something compelling. We're still on the air. Still on the air. Don't worry. We're about to have a drum off.
throw them off.
Okay.
Okay, let's see if I can throw them off.
Something like that.
Drummer number 3. What sticks are you gonna use?
I hope they didn't fall asleep on the couch.
That was pretty fucking good, you guys.
Okay.
Your hands are still
Don't say
vibrating.
nothing yet.
Sorry,
We're
boys.
gonna get back in the booth.
Sorry.
Stations, everybody.
To stations, positions, people. Smiles for the public. Smiles.
Okay.
Record
Okay, everybody. Okay, we just had a little drum off here.
Pretty sweet.
We had producer Dan and Patrick in the green room,
Bound and gagged.
bound and gagged in the with only their ears. Okay. What in order? Who were the drummers?
Okay, the first one was Chris.
Yeah, that was definitely Chris,
was
man. He
definitely
was
Chris.
fast.
Yeah.
What was that? I mean, that's like a machine gun, huh? That was
Yeah.
just like.
But the second one, because Chris has speed, Jamie has power. That's what
Yeah.
we were talking about.
Yeah.
Because Jamie, you can really hear him hit the skins.
Yeah.
But you're like, and he's like, boom, boom. So the energy gave you away. The speed gave you away.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Got it.
So the order is what from you? What's the order?
Chris, Jamie, Chris.
Wait. I was in there too.
Oh,
No, it was Chris.
There's three
It
drummers.
was
me,
Chris.
Chris, and Jamie. Put them in
It
order.
I
was
promise
Chris,
you, I see two
Jeff,
drummers.
and then Jamie.
Okay,
Chris, Jeff, and then Jamie. That's what I think the order
Yeah.
was.
Chris, Jeff, and Jamie.
Chris, Jeff, and Jamie is what I'm
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Are you agreeing with Dan?
Something like that.
Okay, let's tell the truth.
Okay.
Chris, and Jamie.
It was all Chris.
Was it really?
He was just showing how he can diversify.
Different styles, yeah.
What was the order? I forgot.
Different styles of crap, semi-crap.
Wait. Did they guess it? Did they guess it right?
And good.
Wait.
No, he guessed it right. Yeah.
He guessed it right? Oh, I was second?
All right.
You know, I got to tell you something. There's a joke that all my buddies have, and I don't know if I really like this label,
God.
but they always tell me, Jamie, Jamie the drummer, blocka blocka, man. So I got that blocka blocka pride because every time I play, I'm all boom, boom, blocka 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 blocka. It's kind of like, I don't know if I'd like that, but I'll take it because I can't take anything else. So
You have kind of a Ramones energy about
I
words.
guess I just do the best I can. I don't know.
No, you're speed, man. I
You know
mean,
what's funny is that when I was playing in the 80s, people used to come up to me and go, I can tell you were really influenced by John Bonham and Zeppelin. I never played a Zeppelin song in my life when I was in high school.
All right, I got a jam, boys. I got to get to a session.
Okay.
Wow.
We went
pleasure.
over time.
So much,
Yeah.
man.
Thank you so
We
much.
want to
Appreciate
thank
it.
Chris Moore and
Yeah.
James
James
Harris,
Harris.
Jamie James Harris from Aquarian Drums for making a spectacular show today. Let's before we leave, let's go take our
Those buddy shots.
let's do
Sure.
our buddy shops for our
And
promotion.
any drummers, call Aquarian and I'll talk to you. Let's rap. Let's see what kind of heads you need. Let's go for it.
All right.
I've got a few drummer friends.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow.
And not all my drummer friends are in rehab, so let's get that straight.
Dude, that was a bomb ass show. Okay, Dan, let's get a group shot here. Let's see, we should do it right here. We get the chaotic in the. Okay, you guys all get here, and I get the long arm.
All right.
Pat Giant Man, get in the back.
I apologize. Here we go.
Hop on in.
Sorry.
on in, dudes.
Get over here, boys.
All right.
Pull in.
There we go.
We got it?
Cool.
No, in front of the logo, boys.
Okay.
Hold up your drumsticks. Show them us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
One more. There we go.
Right on, man.
Thank you, guys. All
Thank you for
right.
having
much.
us, boys.
Yeah,
Thank you
man.
for coming in.
Good to
guys
meet
meant
you,
the
man.
work.
Thank you
Boys,
so
have a
much.
great
Big
day.
ass show. I
Thank
mean,
you
we
so
could have
much.
gone
Yeah.
on for more hours and hours, man. And I'll try to make it. I'll grab my boogie board and we'll surf with the sharks. Thanks, Chris. Man, that was a real.
Listeners, thank you for joining us. Tomorrow
What-
morning
Okay, what?
at 7.
What's that piece? that nut that? What's that nut that goes in there? When I go to the drum store, what do I get?
Thank you for everything, bro.
No, thank you. Yeah.
Thanks, Chris.
I don't know. It looks like one of those square.
Is it square nut?
Square nuts.
That
Yeah,
goes-
the squares. That
So I'll
slide
just bring in my key that I got.
Yeah, just
and
bring
tell
this
them
in
to give
and
me
show.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll measure these heads.
And they'll know if you tell them whatever brand and model this kid is.
I'll get
they'll
rid
know.
of the pad, put some aquariums
I'll
on
do
there,
top and bottom.
and it'll sound.
It'll sound way better.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
get that baby sounding way better.
Yeah.
For sure.
Wow.
Right on, dude. Hey, thank you so much.
No, thank you for coming in.
And you did a fantastic
Jamie,
job.
thank you
Very
so much.
professional.
Yeah.
You speak well. Didn't he speak well for the
Yes.
radio?
Yes.
Yeah.
You have a good voice. Good voice.
You had a
Got
great
energy.
interview.
Both of you. And the stories were appreciated.
Yeah. Cool. Hey, I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys soon.
Okay,
And
and
our
I'll-
drummer friends, just let me know what sizes you need.
Okay.
You said you had some friend drummers.
So I'll post
Thank you
that.
so much.
Dan will post the YouTube show. Okay. And I'll post it on everybody's wall.
Oh,
My
okay.
wall, so everybody can see it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Should I let him in? Thank you for coming in.
Thanks, Jamie.
Wow, boys, amazing show.
Wow.
Boy, what a great show. We're still in the air, so it's anything objection.
Wow.
What a great show.
I haven't played these in so long, man.
Patrick on the horn.
Wow.
Nicely
go
done.
ahead.
I haven't played drums in a long
Yeah.
time.
Oh,
Hit a cymbal. Oh, it's fun to watch retarded kids play. Oh.
wow. I want to try when you're done. Hold on. Nice.
That's not bad for an old guy.
You're too hard on yourself, kid. All right, let me try this. Hold on.
It's gonna take us like 2 hours to put this stuff
I
away.
know, yeah.
Give me a second here. All right, here we go. I dedicate this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoever's listening.
Stick your foot over there. Stick your foot on this hi-hat, on this pedal right there. And hit the pedal. Hit the drum pedal.
Oh, sure.
Hit the kick pedal. Hit the pedal. Go. Hit it hard.
Hey, I'm Max Weinberg.
That was awesome drum solo, man.
Jankowitz and the Fierce
All
Chihuahuas.
right. Yeah.
Nicely done, Jeff. I didn't know you could play, honestly.
No, Jeff played really good. I was pretty surprised. Not as good as the
You should
other
have joined me
two.
for Frankenstein's in the gym last night.
Yeah.
I actually did okay. I think I
I
did
did
okay.
24-hour fitness till 2 in the morning.
Really?
Yeah, after Frankenstein's.
I didn't know you could go there. Oh, that's right on.
Yeah, I can
Haven.
get you as my +1.
Wow. Go in and plus. We could do late night shit.
Yeah, let me know when. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Man,
I literally sat there, you guys, yesterday. Oh shit, my chair broke. Wow, look at this. My chair fell.
You broke the chair.
We need to hide this from what's his face.
Oh shit.
Yeah, hide that
Yeah.
from Dutchie.
We'll figure that out.
Yes, yeah.
Oh no. Is it coming out of our pay?
Hang on.
Yeah.
Only for.
Out of our, we don't get paid,
Oh, it's
Jeff.
split out.
I forgot
Oh,
to
it's
tell
split out.
you that. We don't get paid.
Thank Christ. I was gonna hide from like the long Good Friday with Bob Austin.
Patrick,
It slid out.
Can
You know what? He's the guy. He's the guy at the at the supermarket where the stack of tomato soup cans fall down on you.
it slid out. That's what my wife says.
I'm getting ready to, Danny, I'm getting ready to slide it back in as we speak. Hold on a second here. Back up. 1, 2, 3.
You know you're on YouTube right now.
No, I did not know this.
Yeah, you are.
And fixed.
This has been one of our
Yeah, this was a great show.
Okay, we're gonna
Get out of here.
get out of here.
All right, hey gang.
Oh,
I hope we woke your asses up. We'll see you tomorrow on the Jeffrey Sargent Show. I'm Jeff Sargent.
We need some. I'm gonna get somebody for tomorrow. I'll find somebody for tomorrow. I gotta work on that right now. She had to go to Texas, emergency flight. She's got a family situation. She's from Texas, and so she had to fly out this morning. Emergency. Let me see if I can get another girl, another pretty girl in here.
Yeah, if not, I could get Mary Kay in. Or yeah.
I'm trying to get a hold of her. I'd love to have. Wait, Mary Kay.
Mary Kay Sweeney.
Who's she?
I sent you a picture of her. She's really hot.
Oh, that
For
hot
men.
chick.
Yeah. You know what? She's great. She's an ugly.
What's she doing?
She's a housewife.
We're gonna have a housewife interview. A housewife. Interview with a housewife.
A house husband.
It's a housewife. Okay, don't bring married. Well, I don't want single hot married. I mean, a hot married chick. She's
No, she's not married. She's single. But she has a boyfriend.
Here we go again.
So,
Let me see if I can get some of these one of my celebrities in.